Look, I get it. I know the job search can be tough right now. Layoffs have been increasing. The economy is tough right now, and good legitimate job postings seem to be on the decline. The squeeze of these circumstances can make you feel like you're pressured to take a position that you may not necessarily want, even if it seems like the job is kind of garbage and that could lead to some headaches. The truth is, although sometimes people miss cues, very often you can spot a bad job before you even submit an application. Many companies reveal who they are long before you ever meet with the hiring manager. What we want to do is approach this with our eyes wide open before we end up accepting an offer, and then things become clear for us when the workload explodes, the expectations shift, and the amazing opportunity turns into something that drains your energy every single day. Today, we're going to be breaking down 3 employer red flags that can predict a dysfunctional culture, maybe an unstable work environment, and a role that could potentially stall out your career. These are patterns that I personally have seen over the years through recruiting, coaching, and helping job seekers navigate the job market. If you're job searching right now, these insights could really help you to avoid some frustration, maybe burnout, maybe some bad offers. So on that note, let's dig in. The first red flag that I would watch out for are companies that describe chaos as a personality trait of theirs, or they glorify unrealistic workloads. Let me explain. When you see employers use language in their job postings like must thrive in ambiguity or comfortable in unstructured environments, you know what? You need to read between the lines. When a company uses corny phrases like, we're building the plane while we're flying it, or even more subtle cues like you must be able to juggle multiple competing priorities or work well under pressure, it's not always creativity or innovation that they're signaling. They may try to pass it off as that, but often what it really means is disorganization. We have to be careful that this doesn't become a blind spot for us as a candidate. People often interpret these phrases like it's excitement or it's growth or it's opportunity. But from the inside, these phrases can often mean that they're chronically understaffed or they have little to no processes in place, almost like you are living in a constant fire drill. So here's how this often plays out. When a company doesn't have structure, it falls on you to become the structure. You inherit problems and inefficiencies, and you can be blamed for not being able to keep up. Healthy organizations don't rely on personality traits like we thrive in chaos. They work towards systems and clear expectations. Trust me, you don't want to be in an environment where you're in permanent survival mode. This leads directly to the next red flag. Pay close attention to their tone and how they communicate with candidates. Companies that talk down to candidates or try to use some form of psychological tactics should raise a red flag. Some employers communicate with you like they are doing you a favor for even considering you. Think of phrases like, we're not for everyone, or only the best need apply, or we expect 110%, or maybe the more manipulative, most people won't be right for this role, or only a few elite candidates will qualify. This language is manipulative, and at its core, it's used to try to tap into insecurity or to manipulate you to chase their validation or make you prove yourself. Companies that communicate with arrogance almost always have a culture that's built on intimidation and not a focus on developing people. Honestly, it's kind of gross, and the way they talk to candidates is the way that they're going to talk to an employee. If they undervalue you in the hiring process, imagine how they're going to treat you once you're on payroll. You deserve respect and clarity and transparency from day one. The last one has become increasingly common with companies that try to attract talent without adjusting pay, and that's offering titles that impress that don't really match the scope of the role. I'm not suggesting that all of these title adjustments equate a red flag because you know what? Titles can vary so much, but it's certainly worth taking note. If they're looking for a manager with no direct reports or no decision-making power, maybe a director with no authority or a lead with no team, you want to take note. When titles get inflated, it's often to hide efforts to entice someone into an underpaid role, or maybe there's no clear growth path, or perhaps they don't really even know what their org chart is, or it's not even designed yet. A manager with no decision-making power isn't really a manager. It's a way to make the job sound more senior than it is. And you know what? Conversely, entry level with 5 years of experience isn't really entry level either. It can be a way to get mid-level work for junior level pay. Titles should match responsibility and not try to compensate for some misalignment of the role. Once again, I understand that the job market is competitive, but as a candidate, you still need to keep your eyes open and watch for red flags. If a company signals chaos or unrealistic expectations, or they're not transparent, or they're disrespectful in their communication, you need to believe them the first time. If you want more direct help in your job search, my courses and coaching are at careeriq.biz. Also, if this has been helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and maybe share this video. Until next time.